In this lesson, we're going to be learning about operations and expressions. When we say operations, we're talking about actions that we can perform on data. And we perform those actions using what we call operators. So what are actions? Actions are things like adding two values together, comparing two values to determine maybe which one is bigger or which one is smaller, or whether they are equal to each other. These are examples of operations. Now let's look at operators. Operators are symbols or keywords that we use to perform operations. When Python sees an operator, maybe in between two values, which we call operands, it knows exactly what to do with the values. Now let's look at the different types of operators. We have arithmetic operators. These are operators that we use for arithmetic purposes like addition, subtraction, division, and the rest. We have assignment operators. These are operators that we use to assign values to a variable. We have comparison operators, also known as relational operators, which are used to compare two or more values. We have membership operators. We have identity operators, logical operators, and bitwise operators. Under the arithmetic operators, we have addition, we have subtraction, multiplication. Division are of two types. We have what we call the true division and the integer division, which we're going to learn shortly. We have exponentiation and we have the modulo. So let's start with the addition. Addition simply means adding two values together. And to perform addition, we use the plus symbol. That's the operator for addition. So let me start by declaring two variables. I'm going to call this num1, and I'm going to assign this to 10. This equality sign here is called an assignment operator. We use it to assign values to variables. Now let's look at the second variable. We'll have this one as num2 is equal to 5. To perform addition, we'll simply use the plus symbol. So we can have result is equal to num1 plus num2. So let's go ahead and print our result. So here we have print result. And you can see we have 10 plus 5 equal to 15. So this is the symbol we use for addition. Now let's look at subtraction. So we'll have subtraction. And for subtraction, we use the minus symbol. So let's try it out again. We'll have result is equal to num1 minus num2. Then we'll have print result. And we'll run it. 10 minus 5 is equal to 5. So we have 5 here. Now let's look at multiplication. To perform multiplication, we use asterisk. So this symbol is used for multiplication. So you don't use X, rather you use asterisk. Asterisk is the symbol or the operator for multiplication. Here we have result is equal to num1 multiplied by num2. And we can print the result. 10 times 5 should give us 50. So we have 50. Now let's look at division. Like I said before, division are of two types. So let's start with the first one, which is true division. So here we have true division. And this is the division in the real sense of it. And for the operator for division, we use /. So here we have result is equal to num1 divided by num2. And we have print results. So this should be 10 divided by 2, which should give us 2. So now pay attention to this. Whenever you are performing true division, you are going to get a float value. As you can see from the result here, we have 2.0. As much as 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2, whenever you are using true division, you always get a float value. Now let's look at the integer division. So here we have integer division. And for this, we use double forward slash. That is the operator we use for integer division. Now pay attention to this. We'll have result is equal to num1 divided by num2. And here we have print results. Then, as you can see, we have 2 as our result. Now let's try out something else. Instead of using num2, I'm going to use num1 divided by 3. Now this is supposed to be 10 divided by 3, and if I run it, you see I have 3, which is quite wrong. Now let me replace this one by 3 and run it again. Now we can see we have 3.333335, and then in the case of integer division, we only have 3. So this is what actually happens. When you perform integer division, it removes the decimal part. It doesn't do approximation, it simply removes the decimal part. But when you do the true division, it gives you the real result. The only problem with the true division is that even if there are no decimal parts, it simply gives you a float result. So whenever you want to perform division, always go for true division. Whenever you want to perform a division and you don't care about the decimal part, you use the integer division. Now let's look at the next operator, which is exponentiation. So we have exponentiation. And when we say exponentiation, this is the same thing as raised to power. And in this case, we can have result is equal to, let's say, 3 raised to power 2. And the operator for the exponentiation is double asterisk. So here we can have 3 raised to power 2. And what this means is 3 times 3. If I say 3 raised to power 3, it means 3 times 3 times 3. So let's display the result. We have print result. And of course, I will run it, and we have 27. If I say 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 3 should be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And we'll run it. As you can see, we have 8. So this is for the exponentiation. Then lastly, we're going to look at the modulo operator, or otherwise known as the modulus. This is the same thing as remainder. And so we use the percentage symbol as the operator. So pay attention to this. We have result is equal to 5 modulo 2. What this means is, what is the remainder when you divide 5 by 2? So when 5 is divided by 2, we're going to get 2 remainder 1. That remainder is what we call the modulo. And so we have print result. We'll run it. As you can see, we have 1. 1 is the modulo. So if I change this to 3, 5 divided by 3 is going to give us 1 remainder 2. That 2 is the modulo. And so if we run it this time around, we're going to see 2. So this is the modulo operator.